Ladies and gentlemen and fans of Colts football, the Colts division about to take center stage here as the second game of our Sun Bowl 36 presentation brought to you by Live Streaming Brisbane. And out comes the Gold Coast Stingrays, the powerhouse of this division, the five-time, aiming for six-time back-to-back champions. They're taking their spot over on the far sideline here at Sunshine Coast Stadium. Kenny Andres, and joining me fresh off his maiden on-field presentation, Liam Reeves here for this junior Sun Bowl performance as the Brisbane Rhinos, their challengers this evening. They've appeared out of the tunnel now and they're on the near side sideline. Liam Reeves, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. Look, if you watched that atrocity of my debut with the presentations, I apologise. But look, as Kenny said before the presentation, I've got some practice to get on my belt. So got a few more games to go in the day. And look, really keen for this one. It's a side note. I'm an appreciator of nice jerseys. I like the Rhinos all black strip today.
I agree.
Not mad at it.
Just to give their appropriate love as well. You saw on the screen just a moment ago the officials unit for this 12:30 p.m. Colts Sun Bowl. Heading the charge is Richard Prater. Helping him out at umpire is Tim Verville. Headlinesman is Pat Humphreys. Line judge Jason Gambier. Back judge is the man David Hodkinson. Field judge is Andrew Stock. Side judge Chris Emery. And working on the video judging today is Brian Balsamo, taking a quick breather before he has some pretty big events later in the day. He'll be capping the men's Sun Bowl. His assistant is Shane Ossett. As we get ready for the coin toss down in the middle there amongst these two sets of captains, that's Nicky Verbakel from Touchdown Photography helping document the day. And you see some of the skippers there just for the Gold Coast.
Nicky's supplied many players' Instagram content for many years.
Make sure you tag Thomas Roderick, one of the captains. Noah Hull, starting quarterback, another one for Gold Coast. Number 93 is Keegan Wineout. I bet I'm going to be calling his name a lot. And my most respect out there to the honorary captain today. Unfortunately, don't have players without their numbers sometimes. For the Rhinos. Before this comes out, we've got 90 and Malachi Railton Stewart. Number 31's Sam Lowe from that famous footballing Lowe family of recent years. Jersey number 10's Alice Blythe. And then number 2 is starting quarterback for this game, Anthony Hearn.
Stingrays have won the toss, have deferred. Rhinos will be receiving the ball.
Not sure if we're getting the audio there, so I just don't want to talk over them there. So the Stingrays, Liam Reeves, choosing to defer their option into the second half, which might be key because I'm not sure how this weather's going to go. Touch wood, it looks like some of the weather people out there over the last couple of days might have been dead wrong. We've got a beautiful sun here in the middle of the Sunshine Coast Stadium, and fingers crossed it stays like that for the rest of the day.
100%. It seems like someone's made some sort of sacrifice to the sun gods because the weather's done a complete 180.
We'll take it.
100% we will.
So for those tuning in for possibly Colts football for the first time here in Gridiron, Queensland, let me give you the 4-1-1 with the Gold Coast Stingrays standing at 7-1-0, just shy of a perfect season. Those pesky technicalities robs them of the perfect season title. A draw due to weather gives them that one in the middle column. Otherwise, they are undefeated. The Brisbane Rhinos also a benefactor of that one draw, and they come into a season otherwise with a 4-3 record here as the number 2 team here in the Colts division. The Gold Coast Stingrays, fair to say, are the Goliath in this matchup. 5 straight championships, now under 2 different coaches. And it is underway that their journey for a potential record-breaking 6 in a row starts with a touchback. The Brisbane Rhinos, their head coach from Timmy Reynolds, and he's looking to bring back the glory days he did as a player. He was actually part of the last team for the Rhinos that won a Colt premiership or a Colt title. I think that was all the way back in 2014, but I'm pretty sure that was the Spartans. I think it might have been as late as 2012.
Yeah, I believe so. I've played against Timmy and with in some state camps for many years, so it's very odd for me seeing him as a head coach. Essentially growing up with the guy in the sport. So
Rhinos in offense first. The give is the number 42 in Regan Holiday. One of his coaches, Sam Harkness, I think is in the booth, just a couple booths away from me there. Yeah, big Regan Holiday guy. And that will be a loss of 2 to open the account for the Brisbane Rhinos. Now, just confirming it is Anthony Hearn at quarterback. Alex Blythe has started most of the year, but it is Hearn that gets the nod, number 2, as a flag comes flying in, as does number 7 in Christian Denton to lay some wood here on the second play of the game.
Great play there by Christian. Kept his hips square to the player, I'm sure we called that ball for the Rhinos there, but kept his hips square, body on body, clean tackle.
Going down to Richard Prater in a minute. All right, quick shot. And we'll take a quick look. Why not? Trying to work this short game. Pass rush is ferocious.
Illegal formation.
From the Stingrays.
5 players in the backfield on the offense. Penalties declined. It'll be 3rd down.
Stingrays will take the loss of yardage and loss of down. 3rd down and long now. The first conversion attempt here on the day for the Brisbane Rhinos. They've got 3 receivers out to the right. And, well, I think that should technically be a offside there because that was a legal motion from the Brisbane Rhinos. We'll wait and see the official call of that. But Liam Reeves, what do you make of it?
Was that a lineman that motioned just now?
No, well, it's a lineman number, but
Yeah.
they are it.
I think the nerves obviously are setting in a little bit, or it appears to be that way. I think once they settle in, get a couple of drives under your belt, get the defence on.
Offside on the defence. Number 95. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
As I was saying before, getting the defence on and taking a spell, regrouping, getting ready for the next drive.
Andre Bailey getting the start at defensive end. A couple of late changes. Wilson Spisic, I think, is on the other side of that 3-man line. Same formation here for the Brisbane Rhinos here on 3rd down. The 3rd and 7. Player in motion. They go into the same play, looking for a pass over the middle. Tipped, caught, intercepted. That is Clark Vorhauer, the former junior, climbing up the ranks. Now starting at... Well, I've got him at cornerback here. It might have been at safety to make that pick. There's our first turnover of the day. It was Denton again getting his hands on the football to lead to that interception.
I mean, it was very, very cliche line here, but great heads-up play there by Vorhauer. That's essentially tip drill in action right there on the field, so great job.
So this is the first opportunity for this offense. Turnover is the first result of the day for the offense. Hailing from Brisbane. 6 minutes 45, first down, Gold Coast Stingrays. Flags already on the field. The yellow boots and yellow flags making an appearance here. It's Kane Mackin rumbling and stumbling his way to the 11. And I have a feeling this play might be coming back, but you want to talk about a team that doesn't necessarily rely on the run, you're talking about the Gold Coast Stingrays. Just looking at their stats, they run a lot of
Offside.
wide receiver
defense.
sets.
Number 6. Penalty will be declined. Result of the play is a 1st down.
As I talk over Richard Prater there, and my apologies. A lot of passing stats. There is barely a ball carrier over 100 yards on this season there. They're happy to move this ball through the air. In fact, it's hard to even say they have a starting running back, but today's is Kane Mackin, the all-round athlete. Number change this season to number 56, and he plays all over the place. Predominantly know him for his defensive efforts, but the junior Queensland Sun Devils rep getting the start of tailback today. Got more information on him soon. He gets a second carry. Brings us inside the 10.
It's good for Mackin here to get those early strong runs and just slow it down. Get everything settled just so, and they're knocking on the end zone here, so.
Second down now, already, as you said. So is Chitley knocking on the door. The Gold Coast Stingrays dominated this division once again here in 2020. 2020, a year full of changes. This is not one of them. Strong formation out to the left, but you've got two receivers out to the right. They will play action pass this one, and this will be a catch on the play. Shaking the last tackler. In for the first touchdown of the day is Flynn Groff.
Absolutely filthy. A great decision here by Noah Hull there. And then Flinhoff just making that move, just shrugging him off. That was a grown man play right there.
21 pass touchdowns for the season. The new starter at quarterback. Obviously, this team, blessed with quarterbacks last year, had their pick from whether it was Gork or Chapari, or the other gentleman you're going to see later in today in the senior Sun Bowl who made the decision to move up to seniors. Now it's Noah Hull leading the charge. Mackin trusted with a 2-point conversion. Mackin getting the 2-point conversion there. So an 8-point start here for this Gold Coast Stingrays offense here with 5 minutes and 22 left in the first quarter.
Great defense here, but Mackin's just running too strong. As I was saying before, he's getting these power runs in nice and early. It's giving the runners' defense something to think about. So really hoping they obviously match that aggression and start settling into the game.
And just more on Kane Mackin there, the starting running back today for the Gold Coast Stingrays. Get a shout out to his would-be prep school, West Toronto Prep, the Golden Warriors. Apparently that was where he was intended to be before a little thing called coronavirus denied him the opportunity.
Rained on a few opportunities for a few people around the league, so.
Told his...
Bit of action there in the middle between 62 and someone 1/8 of his size, which is very impressive.
The big man and Brigham Alafipo, but yes, apparently the admin and staff and would-be teammates tuning in from Toronto there. He was supposed to be there in May apparently, but we all know what happened there. He's been an impressive young man, Cade Mackin. Obviously, he was one of the few junior age players to make the Queensland Junior Sun Devil team, which is a Colt age competition, and here he is still applying his trade here in the Colts, Colts division now. After graduating from juniors, first play here again. Turnover on their first possession. Anthony Hearn settled things down with a quick run to the outside.
Great run there by Anthony Hearn, but again, it's Christian Denton there, just always there to make the tackle. Really solid form, squaring up, body on body. And this arm tackle nonsense, not what we want to see here.
And it's odd. Anthony Hearn was involved in a bit of a quarterback battle in his junior days. He did win a junior Sun Bowl with many of his teammates here 2 years ago. And I don't know if that was intended, but he keeps it and gets stuffed there on third down, which will bring up a likely punting situation. But Anthony Hearn was locked up in a bit of a quarterback battle in that junior year where they won, ended up being the starting quarterback in the Sun Bowl, took them to victory. Similar thing happened here. Alex Blythe was the starter for most of the season. And Timmy Reynolds made the decision to go with the experienced Hearn here to start the Sun Bowl today.
You see he's definitely commanding the boys out there, making sure everyone's calm.
Looking to send for the Gold Coast Stingrays.
On
Spicic looking a bit twitchy.
Yeah, 100%.
They're going for a hard count here, the Brisbane Rhinos. Now checking with Coach Reynolds to see if everything is as expected, and it was a staring contest. It was a blink off, and the Rhinos blinked. They threw what I assumed was a pretty trick hard can out there.
Start.
Almost got
on the offense. Number 15. 5 yard penalty.
There's definitely no shortage of talk here. The Stingrays are always going to play hard, and they're definitely not short of confidence, that's for sure.
3:42 left in the first. 3rd and 10. They don't waste time with a hard snap. Here they throw it. It's caught in triple coverage. With enough for the first by half a yard. What a grab.
Okay,
but the young man, Bailey Tuttle.
It's a Randy Moss-esque play right there.
Look, 3 Stingrays in the vicinity, just gets up and absolutely mosses the defense.
These high point plays coming in, the fact with the wind under the ball, just sailing a bit there.
It is odd, actually. The wind, you'd think, usually, negatively affects the passing game. How many times have we seen today, just from the juniors game alone, receivers coming back as we see a big stop here from Gold Coast. In the backfield there is Keegan Winan, the defensive tackle. 39 tackles this season. That makes a tackle number 40. 7.5 behind the line of scrimmage. Make that 8.5.
They're trying to do a sort of inverted veer or potentially a midline option there. I think a few blocking assignments broke down. Just maybe rush the read there a little bit. See what they can do from here. Pass it in the middle.
Pass off the back of the foot, and it's tipped again. Oh, Denton can't hold on to it.
He's going to be kicking himself. Yeah.
Thought he had a gimme, and that would have been the second tip pass of the day. Second tip pass pick, I should say. Falls safely incomplete for the Brisbane Rhinos.
He's been flying around out there early, so I can foresee him having a lot of disruptions and getting involved in the game heavily.
As we look, as action continues here on 3rd down, and this defense shuts it down one more time. They've started hot, this Gold Coast defense.
There's great pressure by the defensive line there. How does that set get awarded? Does everyone get a third of that? How do you award that in the stat room?
It's beyond my pay grade.
Oh. It's definitely above mine.
Yeah. It is interesting, especially how tackles get noted. You always hear that joke about Ray Lewis just falling in the vicinity of a tackle and getting half a tackle added to his stats.
Fantastic.
4th down. The Stingrays ready for a punt here. And then this play will be blown dead. A timeout taken by the Rhinos. Interesting. He probably did save him what was ultimately an awkward punt.
Man, they almost got it through there.
Timeout. Rhinos. That's their first for the half.
And 2 minutes remaining in the first.
So who played in the Sun Bowl last year? So it was obviously the Stingrays. Who did they play last year?
The Gold Coast Stingrays was the Ravens.
What was the score of that one?
Caught me. Usually I'm prepared.
Gotcha, come on. You're historical. Name all the players. Go, Kenny.
Me. That was all that was there. 2 minutes, 1 second remaining. I'm all about living in the present.
No, oh yeah, my bad. Sorry. I gotta stop looking in the past. My apologies.
Usually I have my cheat sheet here, but the printer ran out of ink.
Right. I was just wondering if these two played each other last year.
And under pressure again, and they'll get another awkward punt. Actually hits the back of one of his own players. It's going to be Denton again, who's been Johnny on the spot for a lot of this. Now he's getting tackled by his own players. An auspicious play there eventually finds its stoppage at the Stingrays 31.
I feel at this point you could just have Christian Denton out there by himself and he'd still find a way to make a play.
1v9, I think he wouldn't turn down the opportunity.
Offside on the defence, number 93.
Call offside.
5 yard penalty, replay 4th down.
It's a bit chaotic there. I think he started running
Hold
to his own teammates. So
Hold on, we're not kicking from there.
Well, he must have. I think that's if you look the way he was standing. I think it was a situation where his head over the ball.
it's a bit of a, it's right here.
Oh, you can see us there, here in the luxury of the Sunshine Coast booth. I'm trying to figure out which camera we're looking at. Here it is, myself, the sharply dressed Liam Reeves, and well, I've gone a lot more casual than I have in previous years.
I haven't got my jacket on. Sorry, guys.
Too late now, mate. Missed your opportunity. Fourth down, and we're still not past this punting situation here, and now we're going to see another timeout be taken.
Oh.
How many timeouts does it take to take a punt?
But in this game, the Flags have flown hard and fast early.
Yeah, it's been a stark contrast. Me and
The last game.
Jared Garrity, we were just praising the way the game flowed in that first junior game. There weren't a whole lot of flags, and there were few and further in between. And it was a fantastic game of football for those who were just tuning in, missed out the junior game. The Gold Coast Stingrays became back-to-back champions in the junior division, 28-12, over the Logan City Bears, who made their first appearance at the Big Dance. Valiant fight by them, going down by 16 points. But go back and watch that if you get the opportunity. Wonderful display of some of the youngest talent we have in Gridiron Queensland. Of course, that hopes to be supported by the youth division, which we saw at 9 a.m. this morning. Ran pretty much a semi-quasi podcast with Craig James as a punt finally gets out from the backfield, sans yellow flags. It's not a pretty one, but it will change possession. Gold Coast already with an 8-point lead. They'll now set up their second drive from the Rhinos 34.
Going back to that impromptu podcast you had with Craig James with the youth games, it was interesting to be a fly on the wall on that one. It was two people that know a lot about GQ and its history. So
yeah, Craig James, as I said, despite his 19-year absence, I believe he said.
Yeah.
Still very relevant, both in his time pre and certainly post that absence. There during somewhat of the split conference days, and this is a nice pass out to the number 85, and that is not Jaden, but in fact Sam Paludan, who's replacing, well, not say he was replacing, but has donned his brother's number. Flags in the backfield though.
Yeah, that was thrown early around the O-line as well, so we'll see what is going to be called here. Something like might be on the offense.
Holding on the offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
Just going to march them back a bit there, but I think having that underneath ball, it forces, if you obviously getting the blocking from the receivers, it forces essentially someone to make a one-on-one play. If you have an athlete out there that can make the moves and make them grown man plays to shrug them off or get past them, it's obviously going to turn into big yardage.
And as I said, there's penalty taking place. Now ball is on the Rhinos 44, and your eyes don't deceive you. That is the halfway line next to the 40. Just a reminder, we play on 90-yard fields here in Queensland. Just to do the rugby league goalpost that we have to account for. The pass here on first down is caught by who else other than Flynn Groff. Flynn Groff grabs a block, and Finn Groff grabs another tutty.
That was DK Metcalf-esque, just cutting across the field. Barely anyone touched him. It's just replay, yeah.
Full of chirp here, this Gold Coast Stingrays team with now 2 touchdowns.
It was a good block there.
Block in the open field to spring in.
Look at this block again. Yeah, so they might call this actually.
And this is how the game has changed in the modern day. Once upon a time, that is a block that is praised, no questions asked. In the name of safety, it is now under certain questions. No official challenge has taken place, and I might just have been corrected.
Yeah, here we go.
Looks like the boot's going to
Officials time out. The previous play is under review.
I mean, you can't fault the effort here, but obviously you've got to play a bit smarter. And as a player, I understand in the season, like there's some things that happen and you feel the rules change each week, but I mean, it's such a bang-bang play. Things happen at that speed.
And as a football traditionalist, it is so hard to speak ill of that play. That is something you would coach at wide receivers to do for the longest time of football's existence. But as they're trying to protect players more and more, particularly from head injuries, unfortunately, this is moving to players that are soon to be outlawed out of their sport.
As I said, you can't fault the effort, but in today's day and age, it's obviously becoming more and more frowned upon. And it was a clean hit. I mean, he didn't target the head or anything, which was... But I guess it's a bit unfortunate for the Stingrays now. They've had two big plays. This one being a big play and the last one making a decent chunk to almost a first down.
Should emphasise the reason this is ruled, or could be ruled, as we're still waiting for the official call, is that they're looking to protect defenceless receivers. And being someone who can't see a potential blocker like that.
I'm trying to get the number on.
So we sit and wait in anticipation with you here in the middle of this Colts 2020 Sun Bowl. Head down to midfield.
So that first quarter's just ending now. That was sort of a...
After review, the ruling on the field has changed. A personal foul for a blindside block on the offence. It'll be a 15-yard penalty from the 25-yard line. Still be first down.
So Stink,
Wipe that touchdown off the board. And they will not only go back to where they were, they will a couple of yards off it as well. We've got 1st and 15. So what was otherwise Flynn Groth's second touchdown of the day.
So I stand corrected, it wasn't quarter time, but this quarter's really dragging out. It's getting a chess match type feel at the moment.
Well, we've had a number of flags, which certainly stretches things out. Another pass underneath, bobbled to first initially. Flynn Groth, clearly part of the game plan. Doesn't get his long-range touchdown, but only picks up another big grab there, almost moving the chains.
Groth is getting his touches early. It's his rookie year, I see.
Yes, indeed it is, but he comes from a footballing family. As Craig James explained earlier there, his father, Simon Groth.
Definitely doesn't seem a stranger to the sport at all.
Looks a little different, slightly different build to his dad. And now he lines up at tight end. Here he is tight to the line, 3-point stance. Twins out to the left. They'll give to Mackin. Big
Work your magic,
juking stride, and will get tripped up and taken down at the Rhinos 15. The Stingrays convert, and they're on the move once more.
Apart from the big plays, the Rhinos defense has let up. They're still giving them a bit of fight. I believe the field position probably hasn't helped the best. They can make a stand here, it'll help them out a bunch and get the offense on the field to make some yardage and help them out if the ball does, the offense does go 3 and out or has to punt the ball. And that will finally be the end of the quarter here in the Colts Division Sun Bowl. Stingrays with a first quarter lead, 8-0, thanks to a Flynn Groth touchdown via quarterback Noah Hull. Teams will flip sides and continue this game here into the second stanza. Liam Reeves right now, it's only an 8-point lead, so for the Rhinos, certainly good news, I suppose, grand scheme of things, because otherwise the Stingrays are looking pretty dang solid. Yeah, it's just obviously they've had whether you call it unlucky calls or ill discipline. They've had a few flags that have brought back their plays, and you would have been looking at a potentially 16-0 score at the moment if they converted their 2-point after that last score. So they're coming out with all the weapons, and as you said, they're definitely not shying away from that air game, especially with the weather and the elements here today. And the protection that Noah Hull gets there gives him the time to make the reads he does, and he's obviously really smart, tuned on guy. So he's got a QBR of 113.
Yeah, solid, obviously, and honestly, in this division, at 58% pass completion, if you're completing more than half your passes, that is respectable numbers.
I think my QBR for the year would have been single digits.
Well, the joys of not keeping stats.
Yeah, that's it, thank God.
Though, for those who are wondering why I have so many stats on the Gold Coast Stingrays, they have one of the most extensive film reviews under the coaching staff they have under Colt Isham and Connor Brewster in the league. I swear they do more tape than most of the senior teams. This is Kane Mackin once again. A nice, solid tackle there. In fact, possibly forcing a fumble, trying to make out the number. It might have been big Ruzi Samo.
Definitely was. You can't miss him. He's a force to be reckoned with out there.
And you know what else I love? Look where he's positioned at the start of the play. Right at nose tackle. He knows there's no reason why he can't go sideline to sideline. From the middle of the pack, he's the guy to stretch all the way to the sideline and makes a huge play there.
Kenny, there's another thing there that you would have been proud of back in your coaching days was the angle he picked to make the tackle. You're always big on angles.
Yeah, got to take those angles. And where's the red carpet and the horns? Royalty has just entered the commentary booth here as we're in some red zone action here for the Gold Coast Stingrays. A beautiful pass, but cannot be matched with an equally beautiful catch. Hayden Dobosh, the primary receiver for this Colts division side, couldn't bring it in. Very uncharacteristic for him. Half his catches end up going for touchdowns. Liam Reeves, he will return to his sideline correspondence as getting ready to join me all the way from Bundaberg.
I can confirm Justin Fernley is wearing a shirt. He's wearing a shirt, but it's sleeveless.
Got to get your compromises. And for anyone who wants to ever doubt the commitment of Justin Fernley to this sport, earlier in the year, he drove from Bundaberg to Rockhampton to join us for the North Queensland final. And here he is driving to the Sunshine Coast to show us some love here in the 2020 Sun Bowl as Kane Mackin takes another unsuccessful carry there on third down. That'll set up fourth and decision to be made here from the Colts team. But once again, Justin Fernley, not a stranger to the booth and certainly a good friend of mine. Welcome to the Sunshine Coast Stadium, mate.
G'day, Kenny. Good to see you. Good to be here.
I'm glad the Brucey wasn't stuffed for you on the way here.
No, it was good.
It looks quite good.
It was a good drive down. Bit of road works, but other than that, no major obstacles. My progress.
This used to be home for you, the Sunshine Coast. You had a stint in the Spartans for a little period there towards the back end of your career.
2 seasons with the Spartans in 2011 and 2012.
And here we are. Look at this spread formation here on fourth down over the middle.
Touchdown.
He got one taken away from him early. He comes back for a second. That is effectively his third touchdown, but only 2 will count. Flynn Groth is having one heck of a day.
So this game has just started, Ken?
Yeah, we are right into the second quarter, my man.
Wasn't it supposed to start at 1?
There was some misleading information there about some of the games there. It was originally 1 o'clock. It was changed to 12:30 later in the week. Apologies for that moment I came to you.
Okay.
That's all right. We had our man Liam Reeves here to fill in your chair until you're ready.
And what a fantastic filling he would have been. He knows all the right things to say.
I'm blushing.
So the Hull and Groth connection coming up the goods once more. Mackin is trying to get to the goal line. Stops short. To the score remains 14-0. 1 touchdown in each of the quarters so far here for the Stingrays. The Rhinos offense needs to find a way to get started, or the Stingrays will gladly leave them behind here in their endeavour to get 6 straight Sun Bowls.
What? I'm just trying to get some extra length on this cable.
As we're dealing with the logistics of
Otherwise
headsets
it's
here
going
in
to
the
keep falling
commentary
off the
booth.
desk.
Speaking about the North Queensland Reef Bowl, I should say, that we called earlier. It was earlier this year. 2020 is all over the place for me, but it was earlier this year, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
The Reef Bowl there. That was Mitchell Powell from the successful reigning champs up there in the Reef Bowl. He's here as part of the committee.
Yep, not taking part in the North Queensland competition this season due to COVID restrictions.
And returning this, I think, is Regan Holiday, who takes a mighty big hit there, and flags come flying in from the goal line.
What results have we seen thus far today, Ken?
I was just recapping the Junior Sun Bowl not too long ago. A fantastic way to start our day here on Sun Bowl Saturday. The Gold Coast Stingrays, recapping those who might have just be tuning in once more. The back-to-back championships for them, 28-12 over the Logan City Bears.
Personal foul.
Nice one.
Horse collar tackle. 93 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty on the end of the run. First down.
Keegan one end pinned for a horse collar tackle there. That's by taking down a ball carrier by the scruff of the neck. And you can see it plain as day there. Got to get those arms down.
His aim was certainly good. He went straight for it. He didn't hesitate.
14-0, and me and Liam were just talking. It's hard not to talk about how impressive this Colts program for the Stingrays have been. You don't win 5 in a row without having a good culture and having good progression systems. There's a good step up in the pocket from Hearn, and Hearn will look to take it himself, gets past the 40, and that is the most productive play from the offense as of yet. Some signs of life here now for the Rhinos, who are looking to get started.
It's like the whole Stingrays program over the last 10 to 15 years, Ken. They've had some outstanding athletes on the Colts teams for the Stingrays. So I guess in some ways it's great to see these guys going overseas and furthering their careers, but on the downside we don't get to see a whole lot of them.
But it seems like they keep finding them, and the fact that they've now got a junior program that's quick pressure will be responded to by the screen to Regan Holiday. Regan Holiday showing off some quickness, getting to the outside, and here we go. The keys are in the ignition for the Brisbane Rhinos.
Considering this is the last game of their season, I'm a bit surprised he took the soft option then and ran out. He got a few more yards in that run for him, I'd say. I always like to make contact, Kenny, even if it was only an extra half a yard.
You're the new age of football, mate.
Let the defence know you were there. Mind you, looking at this Rhinos sideline, I guess they don't have a lot of players to spare today. Likewise with the Stingrays.
Yeah, it is.
Very small squads.
Here goes Hearn again. That seems to be one of the bread and butter plays for this Rhinos offense.
Again, no contact. I guess we can forgive that one. He is the quarterback.
And second down upcoming here for the Brisbane Rhinos. This play will get underway after the 5-minute mark here in the second quarter. And here with the receiver and Sam Lowe out to the left, but the give will be to Holiday, but this play is blown dead. Flags down here on the near side sideline.
Yep. Well, thus far the weather gods have shined on.
Try the snap. False start. 31 offence. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Just as I was giving him props, he gives a false start there in Sam Lowe. But yes, I think we might have to touch wood because I've been talking about it so much, but the weather gods have certainly pulled a 180 as described by Liam Reeves earlier today.
Yeah, it's been great.
Second down now. Couple in the backfield. Holiday, but it'll be Hearn keeping it.
Go left, son.
Looks to the left for a second, cuts it back. One of the players, Ryan Collins, wants a block on the back flag. He's not going to get it, but the defense does a good job there. No yards gained on the play, and now they've got a 3rd and long here. In fact, it was a loss of a yard. 3rd and long upcoming for the Brisbane Rhinos, trailing 14-0.
The left-hand side was certainly where all the vacant real estate was on that play, Kenny. Unfortunately, you probably should have taken a bit longer look at the left-hand side. Now, I think I hit about a combined 30 seconds of rain on the drive down today. So
yeah, that's what I said. I stayed up here last night and it was patchy. Certainly hard at times, but the rain was patchy at best. Hearn, quick drop. Again, screen out to the left-hand side. Regan Holiday.
Good work from the cornerback.
Regan Holiday didn't have the opportunity to play in the Colts Sun Bowl last year. Of course, was of junior age, but obviously a lot more flexibility in 2019 regarding that. He was away on holidays though. Missed out on the opportunity to play up in the Colts Sun Bowl.
Okay.
Flags down. Jeez. Middle of the field. Down to Richard Prater.
Personal foul. Roughing the quarterback on the defence. Number 13. Half distance to the goal penalty. Automatic first down.
Ouch.
So we take a look at the penalty that was assessed. And I think that's a very fair call. You're not going to get any arguments from me.
Soft hit, but he certainly deserved the penalty.
It's hard, Dodge. It's one of those things where you want to teach discipline, but you also don't want to necessarily coach too much of that out of a player.
Well, that's such a stupid move from the defensive player. If you're going to hit the guy, hit him.
Yeah.
Don't just
Get your
paddywhack him in the
money's
back and get a half-distance penalty for that softness.
Empty set here for the Brisbane Rhinos. Hearn all on his lonesome in the backfield. Under pressure immediately. Evades the first defender. This is a design run. And the rest of the troops come running in. How about that for a form tackle? I think that was Andre Bailey, one of the more experienced lads on this squad, taking down Hearn.
Stingrays defence certainly knows how to swarm.
I'll tell you what, I know he had a penalty just a play ago, but Ryan Collins is busy today.
Which number is Ryan Collins?
Number 14.
Oh, here we go.
13, in fact, sorry. 13. Jack Kenworthy's in jersey 14.
Okay. Just looking at the team sheets now. Certainly quite a few players missing from today's events.
Spread. Hearn keeps. Evades. Now looking for the corner. Can't get it. Cuts it back inside. But there's two defenders there waiting for him at 3.
Can't help but feel he didn't want to score there, can he? He's trying to run the clock down, maybe?
Yeah, you think about...
He did everything but score.
You think some people are unstoppable for others. You think of someone like Damien Malloy, particularly in his heyday, a run like that, he's not being...
No one was going to stop him there. No one. Nothing. The only thing that stopped him on that play, I think, was himself trying to make up his mind what he was going to do.
Well, not only did he not score a touchdown there, he's come up just short of the
Yeah.
first down marker here, but that kind of opens up your playbook. It means you don't have to score. You can just sneak it if you wish, try and convert for another set of downs. And I think we've got a timeout here for the offense. Hearn didn't like what he saw.
A bit of confusion reigning. The Stingrays will certainly appreciate the opportunity to have a bit of a rethink on what they want to do on defence here. A bit of a momentum killer from the Rhinos coaching staff there, who I think called in that timeout. Considering it was only 3rd and short, I wouldn't have thought they would have had to dig too deep in the playbook to come up with a solution to that situation. 14 points to regather for the Rhinos. How have these two teams been travelling this year, Ken?
Well, one's certainly had a slightly richer season than the other. The 7-1-0 Gold Coast Stingrays, as I mentioned, they probably were en route to a perfect season. Had that game not been rained out. I think it was against the Ravens back in week 7,
Yep.
if memory serves correctly.
There we go.
Otherwise undefeated. Hearn spins, turns and scores! Rhinos are on the board!
Nice work.
Well, I think you might have heard some of our comments a play ago. Found a way to get the ball over the line.
Yeah.
Right there. Honestly, I think he probably got it on first effort.
I think he needs to get on YouTube and watch some of the run straight videos, can he?
Well, he straightens up eventually, regardless.
Yeah.
The net
Good
result is
touchdown.
the same.
Running like a quarterback. Nice work.
And you might have missed earlier oh, look at this. 4 receivers out to the left. Now they'll motion one.
A
over
Luke
the
Chapman
right.
special.
Holiday pitches it, but
I think he's going to go.
the angle was great initially, but the tackle, well, it'll be good enough. That's Eli Freebody who managed to get enough of there of Holiday to deny the conversion. 14-6, our score is just outside of the 2-minute warning.
Ryan Collins down for the Stingrays, number 13. That could be a bit of a blow if he has to have any lasting effects from that injury.
Look, I haven't met the young man, but I'll tell you what, he seems like a tough one. Might be surprised to see him show him a bit of water, a bit of the magic sponge, and he'll be back on. And these Stingrays are now back deep to return for them. It's number 81, I believe that is Aiden Dobosh.
Well, aside from the bit of top dressing they've done, the stadium's held up well to the NRL season, Ken.
Yeah, as I mentioned all the way throughout the junior call there, it was the home for the Melbourne Storm, or the affectionately known Sunshine Coast Storm, for their successful NRL season, as this is going to be returned by Aiden Dobosh. Past the 20 now, offensive space at the 30. He's got a clean set of heels now. 2 to beat, cuts it back inside, but it is well taken there by the 25, and Toby Crawford, free safety in between kicks, makes a key tackle there to stop Dobosh from running away from it.
Nice return from Aiden there. Saw the little bit of room on the sideline and went for it. Backed his pace.
But to fill in those who might be concerned about the health of the field, after the NRL season, this was used for a monster truck display where they had to put sand all over it. And then obviously coming after that, Gridiron Queensland, they've had to comb it all off, and this was the effort.
That would explain.
But as I was mentioned to Liam Reeves there earlier, who's been on the sidelines a lot there, the grass that is on there is beautiful.
It's obviously a multi-purpose stadium, Ken.
Indeed. It's world class there. They've had concerts, all sort of things here at Sunshine Coast Stadium. Hit and caught!
Nice catch.
Groth is having a blinder.
That was almost a DPI, but he managed to grab it.
Oh, look.
Yes, takes me back to the days of the late 80s at Toowoomba Showgrounds, Ken, another multi-purpose stadium. Mm-hmm. And they used to have cattle shows the week before games up there or down there.
Some of the games out at Ipswich as well. Had a couple of those sandier fields.
Nothing like stepping into a hole left by a rather large bull the week before.
And I think we got the 2-minute warning given to us there after that impressive catch. Inside 2 minutes now, 14-6, but the Stingrays with possession, with a pass over the top. Oh, that's twice now today. We've almost seen a miraculous one-handed grab behind the defence.
I think the sand slowed him down on that one, Ken.
Well, that's what I'd be telling my coach.
He was almost there.
And we'll take a look at the kick return touchdowns that's given them such good field position here. Given we had a graphic over the last replay there, this is Dobosh doing Dobosh things. And the big tackle here from Crawford.
Nice wrap.
Seal things up, but I think that was the... I was trying to get a number there. I wasn't sure which 80 player it was getting behind the defense. Throwing off the back foot, but again caught by Groth. Flynn Groth is catching everything thrown his way this afternoon. I can say this afternoon.
You can confirm that's the son of GQ legend Simon Groth?
Yes, indeed. He's actually on the coaching staff on that sideline as is. As I've been told anyway.
Oh, there he is. Getting a bit of sun on his head.
Yeah, we were talking to Craig James this morning during the youth segment of the broadcast there, talking about how we're starting to see some of the old folks coming back into the woodwork.
Yep.
Come out from the woodwork, I should say. And giving back to the sport, particularly in the youth programs, or in this case, in Grothy's case, in the Colts division. And it certainly helps when you've got your own blood playing in the team. 4th down and 5 here. A big stop potentially for the Brisbane Rhinos, but Hull is buying extra time. Sends his receivers deep. One-on-one, and it's O'Rourke doing big man things, getting underneath it and boxing out his defender. Had a great finish to his junior career, and now he's taking his talents up a division.
Yeah, it's certainly going to hurt the Rhinos' cause. They would have got a lot of confidence from that touchdown, about a minute or so ago, and Stingrays bounce straight back and score another one against them.
Jaden O'Rourke, I believe, leading in one of the receiving categories there. 26 receptions, 332 yards. That's his 6th reception touchdown in 2020. And last year, as we see this 2-point conversion here, Noah Hull in the backfield, 3 receivers to his right, throws to the right side, incomplete. A lot of good coverage on the play there, but before we strayed too far away from O'Rourke, last year had him listed in juniors at 6'5". Many people have denied that and said he is definitely 6'6" at this point. Had no problem there using his height to his advantage.
It's number 18 for the Stingrays. Yeah, he looks about 6'5". Makes everyone else look pretty short.
And I think he's matched up with Darcel Tuamavave, who is the nephew of Joe Tuamavave, in the circles, and that's They said
Rhinos.
that was their opportunity. They're the only one in the defensive backfield who can match up with the vertical challenges that is presented with Jaden O'Rourke.
It certainly was a bit of a mismatch on that last play. His height was a great advantage to managing to grab that touchdown. Rhinos be hoping for a good return here. Well, they've gone short. They've recovered. No?
Good hands.
Rhinos ball.
The Rhinos have an opportunity here.
Quite sure if that was by design or by accident, that kick, because I don't know why with 55 seconds to go you'd be interested in the potential of giving the Rhinos the ball 42 yards from the end zone. Interesting call.
Well, the Colts teams that have won so far have prided themselves on aggression and a lot of faith in their defense. Pressure on, then it's a swing play out to Regan Holiday.
Go straight, son.
Cutting his way all the way to the opposite sideline now, trying to straighten up, has got the first down and gets out of bounds. That play could have been disastrous, but it is made up well by both quarterback and receiver there.
Yeah, it's a good recovery from what was looking like an awful situation.
To be a little tongue-in-cheek here, that was maybe save for the final run there. That was a very Star 80-esque run.
It was. Probably a little bit more solid than I was back in those days, but I'd like to see him head north-south a little bit more. He certainly likes to find that sideline. Joshua's 42, wasn't it? Regan Holiday.
First down and 10. Hearn out to 10 receiver, and the ball did in fact go forward. A few inhales there as they thought it was a potential fumble, but the pass intended for Bailey Toddle, I should say.
Yeah, that was just a clean drop. I think he might have been looking at the end zone before the ball actually got into his hands on that one, Ken. Has Bailey seen much ball so far today?
No, one target so far, outside of that.
Got a little bit excited on that play. Rhinos 2nd and 10. Got to go into the air on this play.
Hearn with three receivers out to the right. Looks that way initially.
For a
Sees a whole
screen.
bunch of blue. Now will take it himself. Fair bit of space out to the left. Straightens up and will get this ball just shy of the 10.
Again, another broken play from the Rhinos. They've certainly, most of their yardage has come from opportunistic reactions to unfortunate situations on their offense. I'm pretty sure they were setting up for a screen on that one, judging by the paper-thin offensive line protection. The quarterback taking advantage of the loose Stingrays defense and picking up a nice bit of yardage. This brings them 12 yards from the end zone.
And ain't that the way in nine-a-side football there? How mistakes and errors can turn into positive plays so quickly.
Yep.
There is Chris Power as well, assisting Timmy Reynolds. Power was one of the significant coaches in the winning junior program from a couple of seasons ago for the Brisbane Rhinos, obviously under the tutelage of Coach John Booker, who very well could be tuning in from, I'm trying to remember where he's, I think he's in, I'm trying to remember where in Europe he is at this point. I think he's in Poland.
It's confirmed that our head referee today is Richard Prater, Ken.
That's what it says on the team list. No, it looks like Prater.
Certainly looks like Richard.
He's got that shadowy beard I know him so well for. Holiday in the backfield, two receivers split evenly with one now in motion. That is Fitzsimmons in motion, but they will throw over the middle. Not sure if he was just trying to play some safe football there, Hearn there, because no receiver had a chance on that. I think he was just getting rid of it.
I don't know how many people would be aware, but Richard's actually been involved in some capacity with Gridiron in Queensland since 1987.
Jeez, that's why you're here, mate.
When he first came down to the Centurions training at Kenmore, which was years later to be then used by the Bears. But yeah, Richard first got involved then and dabbled in playing a bit.
And realised he preferred telling people what to do.
I think so, yeah.
Hearn under pressure, tries to step up, but The angles are locked off here. I was hoping someone might have been there to pitch to. But coming in is the combination of
Clock's still running.
Wilson Spisic and I think the 95 and Andre Bailey.
Nice work by the Rhinos out of that play.
Quickly back on for another play, throwing on the rollout.
Yes!
Oh Lord! Outstanding! Concentration at its finest.
We have a flag down.
Flags down back at the 24. For the sake of objective football, I want to see that flag waved off. But how bad?
Regan Holiday's not looking confident. Hands on hips. It's against the offense. That's a illegal lineman downfield.
We'll wait for the official call here down. Richard Prater.
Ineligible player downfield on the pass. Number 15 of the offence. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay third down. Yep.
Oh, here's the odd thing. It's Bailey Toddle who was considered the ineligible player, so I'm assuming it was something to do with the way he lined up.
Yeah, they would have been both on the line of scrimmage due to that hastily put together offensive formation. We would have had both right-hand receivers on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, there it is. Good job from the officials. Rules are rules, eh, Macca? So the call is correct, as much to the disappointment of the Brisbane Rhino supporters out here and those who just wanted to see a big play like that stand, unfortunately. I'll have to throw that into the highlight reel without any audio. Chuck some music over it.
Yeah, they'll still use it for sure.
That would have been a huge play to close out the half. Now, by our count, this should be the final play of the game. What a way that would have been to enter the sheds for the Brisbane Rhinos. Still trailing, but with an amazing touchdown to head into the sheds with. Now they currently trail 20-6.
Let's see if they can do it again.
Ball on the Stingrays 27. Hearn checking off with his offensive coordinators. He's under pressure. Will just take the sack, loses the ball, and the Stingrays recover. It'll ultimately be academic. No time left on the clock here, and by all accounts, the Stingrays should have a healthy lead heading into the halftime break. There it is, halftime called here in the middle of the Colts division. The Stingrays run for 6 straight titles. Looking good so far. They lead 20 points to 6 over the Brisbane Rhinos. We'll have third quarter action for you very shortly. Kenny Andres, Justin Fernley, Liam Reeves with you. Stick with us. More action on the other side of the break. All right, ladies and gentlemen, half time. Just about winding up to a close. Both teams in their final huddles. I think Gold Coast Stingrays on the far side of the screen, just going through a couple extra warm-ups and getting them back into fighting shape here for the second half. They've got a healthy lead going into the second half, and it looks like they might be making it a double here for the Gold Coast club, unless the Brisbane Rhinos can do something about that. Justin Fernley joining me all the way from Bundaberg here on the Sunshine Coast today. Liam Reeves on the sideline getting some intel from us as we speak. But you saw the bulk of that, or at least the second quarter there, Justin. What do you make of it so far?
Well, obviously, the scoreboard is fairly reflective of what's happening out in the field, Ken. The Stingrays are dominating offensively, not so much defensively. They're doing a good job on defence. The Rhinos are being able to stay in the game by virtue of their reaction to broken plays, and that thus far has been quite good. So depending on how the Stingrays continue to react to that, I think that's going to be the Rhinos' go-to for the rest of the game, unless they can get their act together with what's actually on the playbook.
Let's take some time here to acknowledge the quality play of quarterback Noah Hull, wide receiver last year in this offense. They had a succession plan from the two quarterbacks they had last year. Noah Hull was told towards the back end of the season and through the preseason that he would be moving to the quarterback position. And heck, he's made one heck of a fist of it, hasn't he? You were just looking through his stats during halftime.
Yeah, so how much quarterback has he played prior to this, Ken?
Nothing. His first snap was
His first season at
first play of
quarterback.
the season.
Well, he's done really, really well. I mean, his stats are over 1,000 yards passing, over 100 yards rushing, 21 passes, 3 intercepts. That's out of 7 games. So 3 touchdown passes a game is a very good average, especially at this level for a guy that has only just stepped into the QB role.
And usually when someone's taken over in their first season, you can figure a few more turnovers. He's only thrown 3 picks. Now he's playing a perfect game right now. 3 touchdowns, 2 to Groth, who's also having an outstanding game. Let's not forget that. He's caught everything thrown his way. No drops right now. He's got about half a dozen catches, 2 of them for touchdowns. Almost scored a third, but called back for a blindside block, which is obviously outlawed in today's game. Jaden O'Rourke, only the 1 big catch so far, but wasn't it a doozy?
That was a nice pickup. I'm just going back to Noah for a moment, and I guess this goes for all the guys that are out there playing Colts. Colts being 9-a-side, even though it only seems like numerically a small step up from 9s to 11s, and we'll see that especially so with the women's comp and their game this afternoon following this game. It's actually, when you're on the field, those extra 2 players make a huge difference, especially given the fact that they are in the trenches. Those extra 2 bodies, which effectively becomes an extra 4 bodies, creates a lot of extra traffic to look through, look around, run around. It makes quite a difference. So Noah, it'll be interesting to see how he ends up transferring from the 9-a-side game to the 11-a-side game in the future, and that goes for all these guys that are currently playing Colts. I don't know what the retention rate is in the Colts to seniors.
Some teams do it a lot better than others.
Yeah, it's always been a bit of a problem getting those young guys to stay with the sport for various reasons, but a lot of them just find it difficult for employment reasons or even just athletic reasons. But some of them just don't transfer well to that extra 2 bodies on the field for whatever reason.
And I want to talk, just before we leave the topic of Noah Hull there, again, 7 games into his quarterback, or 8 games effectively into his quarterback career there, still making some veteran moves. You can tell he's been around football. The touchdown you did see there to Jaden O'Rourke, the way he escaped the pocket, eyes downfield, unlike say Anthony Hearn, for example, he can still make plays. He kept as soon as he felt pressure, eyes downfield, make plays with his feet, and that's totally an acceptable play. But the things that quarterback coaches at the next level want to see is the ability to keep his eyes downfield, relocated O'Rourke down the field and delivered a ball that he could make a play on there. That's stuff that's very exciting to see for someone so early in their quarterback career.
Especially given he was running to the left. He's obviously a right-hand quarterback, running to the left and throwing back away from his body to find that receiver pretty much where he had to be. If he'd thrown it any more in field, the safety could have got more of a piece on it. It was a very nice play. I've also been fairly impressed with the Rhinos QB today, Anthony Hearn. I'd like to see him run a little bit more aggressively if he's going to make the transition from Colts to seniors, that's something he's really going to have to work on. He's going to get majorly banged up approaching defenders with the lack of enthusiasm he currently does now, but certainly as a quarterback, a pocket passer, and his reaction to things breaking down is very impressive. So we're about to get started, Ken.
And following this opening kickoff, I'll get you to do the headset dance with Liam Reeves, who did the hard yards and hit the sidelines for us during halftime to get some reports from the coaches. We'll just wait for this kickoff to take place. Back deep to return, Aiden Dobosh.
I don't remember reading that in my contract, Ken, but I'll do it anyway.
We'll talk. And how about this? What started as the most overcast and dreary and scary of days has now opened up to a wide blue, beautiful, albeit patchy cloudy sky ahead of us here.
Call me Willie Nelson, but I'm loving it.
No comment. We're just waiting on the officials to get in place now, I believe.
We're just making sure the camera angles on the officials are correct, Ken.
Got to make sure.
Getting their
They've
best
got needs
sides.
too. All right, second half almost underway.
Richard Prater saying we start when I start, which is now.
Second half of the Colts 2020 Sun Bowl. Big thanks to Tribal for their ongoing support of the Gridiron Queensland. Anthony Hearn chips us up nicely, used the sand wedge for that. Caught at the 21, and look at Dobosh go! It's Dobosh versus Hearn! The angle's not there, but Dobosh is! What an electrifying way to start the second half. The Stingrays, 20 points to 6. Now lead by 20 points.
Disappointing result for that kick. It wasn't a bad kick. It had plenty of air under it. It was short, but given the amount of air it got, I would have thought the kickoff team would have been down there a lot faster and would have sealed that gap up. They had plenty of time to do it.
And isn't it kind of odd though that the good kicks, quote unquote good kicks, are the ones that actually get returned for dangerous returns there? Yet some of these dribbly, ugly kicks that happen are actually, albeit not aesthetically pleasing, they do tend to prevent a lot of big plays from happening. Couldn't ask for a better start here for the Gold Coast Stingrays. Looking to add 2 points to this 20-point lead.
Rocket into the end zone.
Gets the call, gets denied. So the score remains the same. The margin's still 20. And the Stingrays, the foot gets applied a little tighter to the throat here. And as we're at the start of the second quarter, I'll use this opportunity to bring in my sideline correspondent in Liam Reeves to give us the goss. 26
hello. Yeah,
49.
this is your GQ TMZ announcement.
Liam Reeves, what have we got?
Yeah, so I've spoken to both coaches, and there was sort of similarities. Obviously, the situations are different, especially with that big kick return we just had there. Tim Reynolds is just looking for the boys defensively just to do your job, make the tackles, make the plays, do your job. That was essentially all he gave me.
The message.
He was 100% straightforward. That's all he wants his boys to do at the moment. Speaking to Coach Isham, excuse me, I've just run up a flight of stairs before, so...
I tried to give you a break.
Mate, well, look, I played a whole season. I'm still unfit, so there's that. Anyway, so Coach Isham, in words that I can put on air, he's cheesed off that there's no donut on. He was looking for the big 60-zip score in the Sun Bowl and wants to raise that high, so he definitely wasn't happy. But he just wants everyone to do their jobs, and they're going to... He's seeming like they're going to go quite run heavy and just see if they can stop it. So,
bobbles, but it was touched. He has to return this. And a nice first step initially, but still the coverage team fantastic on the play there, taking him down inside the 10 Liam Reeves. Good job getting
No
down
dramas.
there. Got some good motoring there.
So,
getting
yeah.
us the insight from the sideline. Colt Isham.
100%. I better put my phone on silent. So yeah, look, just watch for Kane Mackin there, number 56 on the Gold Coast Stingrays, to get some reps here. So they're looking to run it down their throats.
Love your work. Liam Reeves
Alrighty,
doing God's
I'll hand
work
it back
here.
to the beautiful Justin Fernley.
JF jumping us back. Liam getting us all that inside stuff that's usually left wandering for us over the last couple of seasons. JF wanting the donut, wanting to get an 80-point score. Well, that's just...
Well, they've certainly
Something-
come out looking to do that. I think they're going to try to ignore the fact there is 6 points on the Rhinos score and try to get a split of 60 points regardless. They've certainly come out with a lot more aggression, but I think the Rhinos are going to need to do a little bit more than just hang on to the ball and do their jobs. They're going to have really lift and try to pull something out of the bag to get back into this game.
Well, here's the thing, they've got game breakers. We've seen Regan Holiday proving that he can take runs for significant gains. Hearn's always a threat to break things open. They're going to need a few extra of those today, though. Backed up at their own goal line. Here we go. And that's Toddle, I believe, trying his best. Does a good job to grab another couple of yards after that catch.
About a half a yard. Oh, they might have got the first on that one.
Well, he had to get to the 19, so I think he's a couple of yards short there.
Oh, okay. I'm just looking at these lines wrong. Sorry, Ken. Sorry, viewers. Sorry, listeners.
We'll get there between the
Parallax
two of
error
us.
from the glass in the commentary booth, I'd say.
Third down. 3 down linemen here. Spicic on the right side of that line. Good protection there. Hearn had all day to throw. Oh, more
nice
tipped
work.
pass action. And of course, who's there? It is Denton. You missed the first quarter there, but Denton tipped one of the early passes off to ultimately be intercepted by Clark Vorhauer. And then he's been all around the passing lanes all day.
That was a nice reaction from Christian on that, just to keep his resolve and break it up instead of trying to get the pick. I think if he tried to make a catch on that, he might have given up the reception, but did the right thing, just knocked it out of there and took the incomplete pass. 4th down. Is this a punt formation? It is. And
And it's
that's
blocked.
what happens when you don't do it
And-
properly.
A chance to try and score here for special teams. They'll have to settle for getting the ball inside the 5, and this day is getting a little bit longer for this Rhinos outfit. The
Is that their
Stingrays-
normal punt formation, Ken?
Oh, I couldn't tell you, I'm afraid. Unfortunately, no streaming here in GQ during the regular season, so your guess is as good as mine.
Normally when teams line up in a punt formation, you want to get a bit of separation between the offensive line and the guy that's doing the punting. Obviously, looking at the vision from that play, there was only about a 5-yard drop from the quarterback and had me wondering whether they were trying to do something clever on 4th down, but as it turned out, it was anything but clever.
Three receivers out to the right here on 1st down and goal. Mackin pass protects.
Nice
Double
work.
coverage. Wants to try and get the ball to O'Rourke anyway. Needed to get a little further deeper. Pass broken up there by the Rhinos secondary.
Nice read from number 12, who's unfortunately not on the player list.
Yeah, right.
But he read that very nicely from the word go. Playing safety, moved into position. Probably a bit disappointed with himself he didn't get the pick. Could have been a nice little 92-yard return.
What I'm guessing is that could be one of the juniors playing up here at the
Okay.
Colts level, because obviously the Rhinos didn't have a junior team in the junior Sun Bowl, which means that they were allowed to play up. He goes Hull, rolling out, throwing, and that's
Nice
good
work
coverage on the
again.
play.
Who was that? Number 15?
Some of these red numbers, I think it's like the 18 is the one getting the dap, so
18.
that is Joshua
Smith. Yeah, nice work on defense from Joshua Smith. He really stuck to that receiver. Didn't get taken in by the threat from the quarterback to run the ball. Let his up front men take the responsibility to do that.
Josh Smith, one of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rookies by my count on this Rhinos roster. Starting in his first year, third down now and goal. Kane Mackin
Nice tackle.
met beautifully behind the line. Still strong enough to try and get back to the original line of scrimmage. Helmet comes off during that play. Flags come flying in.
The flag's down on that one. Officials have a little chat. I think that will mean a playoff for number 56, I believe. Kane Mackin. Go and have a little rest on the sideline.
And we'll be interested to see if he does come off and
Maybe not. There, up he goes. The official reminding him of his responsibilities there.
Assisting the runner
off for a play
on the
for-
offence, number 18. That penalty is declined. It'll be 4th down.
Aiding the runner is one of the most fascinating penalties to me. We saw a would-be conversion, I think, in the juniors game where there was a clear receiver pushing the back. No call.
Well, I was under the impression that was legal now, that you can't pull them, but you can push them. And what they're saying is he was pulling him.
Ah, fair call. Applied correctly then. I'll sit down.
Well, it wasn't. It was waved away. It surprises me.
The mysteries continue. In the backfield now, I think it's Bailey, the Swiss Army knife of this team. Oh, we almost saw how reminiscent was that to the Rhinos tip pass on that side of the end zone.
Sam Paludin from the Stingrays putting that one down.
Well, a big play there for the Rhinos. That was a 4th down stop at the goal line. Tobosh also.
This stage of the season, all of the Colts gloves losing their stickiness and their catching abilities possibly being compromised as a result.
Especially if they get some of those fancy Nike ones, which are only designed to be made for 1 or 2 games at most.
Yep. Yes, it'd be interesting to know how many of the amazing catches receivers in the NFL and college make these days if they didn't have the benefit of the super sticky gloves.
Hey, it's entertaining. I'll take it. On his own goal line, hit as he's thrown. It's a tough day for Hearn here in the passing game.
Oh, it certainly enhances the game and the watchability and the spectacle of it, Ken. I have no problems with technology helping players in that regard. Just only when they start to threaten my records do I get concerned. Have we mentioned number 3 in the call today? For the Stingrays? Kiralee?
No, starting has worked her way into the starting position here, and I believe her second year at Colts. Started in the junior program, picked up half a sack earlier in the season.
It's one of the great things about the GQ comp is that it's certainly welcomes players of all statures and sexes, and it's good to see the girls out there mixing it with the boys.
Kiralee
In the Colts competition and the juniors.
I think in the juniors we didn't get a chance to measure. I think Neve was amongst that roster as well. Rotated in on the offensive line. Here she is at what looks like a nickel backer position. They'll send Fitzsimmons in motion. He goes running to the sideline. It is a screen attempt and almost picked off. Denton again in on the play.
I don't want to seem critical of what the Rhinos are trying to achieve here, Ken, but 2nd and 13, it was a strange choice of plays.
Well, the screen game nowadays is a popular play. All coaches are happy to call it almost any down and distance.
It almost wasn't a screen though. It was more of a
Pop the crowd up.
As we're looking at now, the crowd here showing a bit of excitement. Sorry to cut you off there, JF.
That's right.
The crowd on screen showing a bit of love for those who couldn't make it today.
It was just more of a flare pattern from the backfield. Not a great deal of setup into a screen. That's a better option.
There we go. It's almost like they used that last play to set up this one. He's got a block if he can get there. Vorhauer does a wonderful job of making sure he didn't get caught up on that last blocker. Otherwise, that would have been curtains on that play.
I don't think that was the case, Ken. Good work from the Rhinos there.
Well, you almost...
First down.
Who was it? 15. Bailey Tuttle there. If he just throttled down a little bit there, he had a whole convoy of blockers inside.
Yeah.
He would have had a...
And that's the difference, Ken. That's the difference between a good runner in gridiron and a good runner in the other football codes. You don't necessarily have to be the fastest guy, but if you can learn how to use blocks and read blocks, you will become a good runner in gridiron.
Ball at the Rhino 24. Hearn drops
Screen.
back. They throw over the middle again to Tuttle. Back-to-back catches for that young man.
A bit of confusion in the Rhinos' offensive line here about who's supposed to block who. Two Stingrays defensive linemen streaming into the backfield, virtually untouched. Had me thinking it was a screen, but no, it's a little dump over the middle.
Hearn now with a design keeper, but plays called dead. Looks like one of it's some early movement. Is that a helicopter above us now?
Yeah, just all part of the GQ
So that or Coach Hollywood's decided to
game
rock up.
show.
Right as snap. False start.
Shout out to you, Coach.
31.
For watching the live stream.
5-yard penalty.
They probably
Still
second down.
figured the game was at half time, seeing as though no one told people what the game time had changed. They're probably running on the same timetable as I was.
My bad.
That was supposed to be the halftime show. A helicopter landing on the field and passing out Christmas presents to the kiddies. Looks like the kiddies miss out.
That's what happens.
On sad little faces today.
26-6. 408, sorry, by our clock on the screen. Hearn dropping back in there, really determined to continue and persist with these screens. And that'll give them a third down and long to contend with here. Ball on their 25-yard line.
The Rhinos O-lineman number 90 there.
That's
I'm
Malachi.
not sure. Darcel?
No, it's
Malachi?
Yeah, Malachi Relton Stewart.
I think he was thinking to himself there, am I allowed to catch this? And in the end he just decided not to.
Smart man.
Offensive lineman is quite free to catch a tip pass. Another drop.
A wonderful read there by Andre Bailey. I thought he was going the other direction for a hot second. Couldn't bring it in.
Bales had the pick six for sure. All he had to do was reel that in, run over the top of three would-be offensive tacklers, and he would have had six. Anthony Hearn breathing a sigh of relief.
Yeah, he's been more busy on the defensive side of the year compared to his 2019 season. 4 down alignment. They'll punt this away here on 4th down following the incomplete pass. It's an awkward one. Takes a friendly Rhino bounce, but it is recovered by Dobosh. He's got a kick return touchdown so far, and we'll take this putt inside the 30.
Regan Holiday denying him. Nice sideline coverage from Regan out of the O backfield.
Always looking dangerous. So far, hasn't been super active in the pass game there. The 81 and Aiden Dobosh. No, there's the leading touchdown receiver there. And look at the GQMC there, getting a bit of lunch there. Mitch Powell. And there's Craig James getting a cheeky burger in. Kate Bennett. Garrity's. 26-6. Kane Mackin toting the ball forward, gets that closer to the Rhino 20.
I think this is what the Rhinos should be doing a little bit more of with Regan Holiday, is just pounding him up the middle or off tackle a little bit, just to get some yardage, get them out of this danger zone instead of trying to pass their way out of it. I mean, thus far their pass game has not been their strength, and certainly when you're trying to get yourself out of trouble, not going to your strength.
And judging by
Probably
the
not
way
the best way to do it.
Judging by the way the breeze has been all day as well, the Rhinos running left to right, the breeze is in their face. So it's, and that could be possibly why they're focusing on the screen game as well. A lot more passing downfield might not be the option there. We're obviously protected up here in the lovely Sunshine Coast commentary booth, but I'm just looking at the trees and the jerseys, and it certainly looks like it is going right to left.
I mean, they're not really in a situation where they've got to desperately pass. 26-6, what they're 3 touchdowns behind, 6 plus 18, 24, so 6 touchdowns and a field goal, 3 touchdowns and a field goal. They could have spent this quarter pounding the ball down the field to maybe get 1 or 2 touchdowns instead of trying to pass it. They've got a decent running game. They've got a good ball runner, and they're not using him.
Quick pass. It's caught. Dobosh. Just as I was saying, he's been quiet in the passing game. There he is for his 10th reception touchdown of the season.
No flags. The other thing that not running the ball is and not getting any field position is getting the Stingrays prime field position to do basically whatever they want. If they want to run it, run it. If they want to pass it, pass it. It's not making the Stingrays work at all.
And there he is. Has been known as a deep threat for this team. They've got 2 wonderful outside threats there at O'Rourke and Dobosh. Both work the vertical part of the field a little differently. O'Rourke does it with his height and physicality, and Dobosh does it with his pure speed. It looks like an official's timeout.
They believe that there's an illegal man downfield on that touchdown.
I love those little plays where the quarterback has that fake receiver just to dump it out.
Okay.
Looks like we've got a challenge flag thrown in the field.
So that you
And it's
want
on
to
the Rhino
challenge that
sideline. You can
there's
see
an
the
illegal
red
man
hanky there.
downfield.
Look at the centre.
Fascinated to see what they could be challenging.
I wonder if they're challenging the ball sport
Copy, Brian.
over or not. Stand by. We'll
They want it left on.
Considering there was no flags on the play of any nature. So what's the process here with the challenge, Ken? What's happening at the moment?
You got to call a timeout, and then you obviously the flag is usually seen at that point there, and you make it that.
Okay,
Fascinating.
ineligible downfield.
I'm looking for. I'm just trying to go through the reviewable things, and I didn't think that was one of the things that could be
So
challenged.
they're looking at the centre. The centre looks like he's thinking run.
So it's number 62 is the centre there, and I think it's
Oh yeah.
5 yards downfield, and he well and truly clears that. If the ball was at the ball's supposed to be pretty much at the half-yard line between the 20 and the 19.
Is the ball caught behind the line of scrimmage? Yes, it is. No, it's not.
We'll wait for the official call here, but one of these teams is about to be very disappointed. And I'll let Richard Prater give you the official news here, but
Bummer. The ruling on the field is confirmed of a touchdown. The pass was caught behind the line of scrimmage.
And they're saying that the pass was caught behind the line of scrimmage. Thus,
well, it effectively makes it a run. Yeah, that's a.
quite clearly wasn't. But, hey, I'm not an official, thank goodness, because that'd make me even more unpopular than I already am. But I would have thought that was over the line of scrimmage, but nevertheless,
It is
the play
what it
stands.
is.
I could do my best Phil Gould here and get very cranky and irate, but I'll just let it slide.
Well, we saw what happened to him. You can follow suit if you wish. And Kane Mackin. I'll tell you what, the Rhinos have actually been pretty solid on conversion, defending conversions, and that trend continues. So Dobosh adds his second touchdown of the day. He hits double digits on touchdowns in this game. Leads the team in receptions, touchdowns, and not counting for passing touchdowns, leads the team in overall touchdowns now with 11.
Stingrays well and truly continuing their dominance of this game in the second half. 1:55 left in the third quarter. So the Rhinos' goal at this point, pending a miracle win, would be to try to keep the Stingrays away from that very unpleasant number 50. Stingrays 3 touchdowns away from 50 points. The Rhinos now 4 touchdowns or 5 scores at least away from a win.
1:55 remaining here in the third quarter of football. Again, another bouncing ball has to be returned now that it's been touched. I think that's Toddle again, and in that corner, the Stingrays once again end this return. And now we've got a Stingray down.
I haven't had the privilege of watching much football this year, Ken, for various reasons. Number one, obviously we're all aware with the COVID situation has placed a lot of pressure on teams' resources and club resources, and filming games and distribution of those games hasn't been what it has been in the past. But I guess I'm a little bit surprised at some of the quality of the football that the Rhinos are producing here, given they're a Sun Bowl combatant today. Seem to be lacking in a few departments that are obviously reflected on the scoreboard, affecting their ability to match it with the Stingrays. Stingrays obviously a good team, they're fairly well coached and they've got some good players, but the Rhinos just seem to be lacking what's needed to be serious contenders for the title. Has that been the case during the season? Are they missing players? Do you think they're having an off day? Or
I think that, first and foremost, I think they've run into some pretty stiff competition. Anything, I'm not going to take anything away from the Stingrays. I also think, though, that this year has been a different one for some coaches to navigate with different availabilities, particularly at the start of the year. Yeah. Coach Garrity, who joined me in the junior game at the start, did mention that it was a very disrupted pre-season for everyone, and not only that, once they got the okay to train, all the sort of hurdles that some of the teams had to do to make sure they could train, it just kind of didn't allow the natural progression of some of the fundamentals to come to the forefront. He explained that even something as simple as ball security was hard to drill in from the start, and that probably has flow-on effects all the way to what is effectively game 11 for a lot of these guys, or week 11, game 9. So
yeah, well, I guess it's one of those situations where you can have a normal, fairly non-disrupted season under the circumstances and survive through it quite well. But if you're in the unfortunate situation where even just a couple of things go wrong, it just has this snowballing effect. It can really affect the team's ability to navigate the season. The Rhinos certainly have some very good athletes on the team. They're probably disappointed they haven't been able to put it together a bit more on the day. Hopefully we'll see some a bit of a fight back in the fourth quarter, but they need to get themselves out of this red zone, their own red zone, and get the ball down the field. Again, I still think the best way to do that is to run the ball some more and pound it up the middle. I know that their Stingrays have got some good size in there, but Holiday seems to run the ball fairly well.
And a big 60. Look at the size of Brigham Malafipo, what a big defensive tackle.
Yeah, they've certainly got some big bodies up there.
Well, here's the thing. At the men's game, we've got a 17-year-old starting at left tackle for the Stingrays. That's the size that some of these guys are competing with. There he is, making a play there and macking.
And that's okay. What they've got 3 yards, 2 yards on that play. 3 yards. They got 3 yards on that play. That's now second down. They do that 3 times. There's a good chance they'll get a first down.
Well,
spread your linemen out a little bit more. Give yourself some room up front. If that forces the defensive lineman to bunch it in, then take advantage of that and hit the outsides. But make some gaps for the guy.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's also a hard thing to do, where scoreboard pressure starts to come into it, and you start seeing the time tick down. And even though it might be the most productive thing you could do, you are looking for plays that can develop very quickly, and that might be the case here for the Brisbane Rhinos. Hearn sending a player in motion. I think it's Fitzsimmons again. So had to do a lot of yardage laterally across the field with those motions. Pass intended to Toddle, incomplete. This will bring up 3rd and long. And what will be fascinating will be to see is if Alex Blythe, who's been dabbling on special teams and wide receiver this game. As I said, he started most of the games here at quarterback for the Rhinos this season. If they eventually might decide to make a switch to him. Incomplete. They tried to go full verts on the Stingrays. Stingrays had it covered. 4th down, and they'll have to regather for another drive next time. Stingrays getting ready to get this ball back.
Unfortunately, neither on the ground or in the air, the Rhinos don't seem to have a true deep threat to overly concern the Stingrays. 4th down, punter's back about 50 yards.
I think they're going for it here. Fitzsimmons in motion
Yeah,
again,
go for
rolling
it.
out to the right, throwing it, looking for Blythe. The pass sails in the wind, and there'll be a turnover on downs. The Stingrays take over at the Rhinos 11.
Not sure if that's indicative of them having given up or they're just trying to stay in the fight. Could go either way. But yeah, 4th down, 6-7 yards to go at their own 13. Quite sure that was really necessary at this point of the game.
Well, it's obviously quite favourable right now to the Columbia Blue, but in my interview with Timmy Reynolds this week, he said the one thing we can't do is get out enthused because this team is too talented and has got too much energy. We have to match their enthusiasm. And if I were to take the second half, the way the second half started, I mean, kick return touchdown, and then you could just feel the energy lift on that Stingrays sideline. I think they well and truly might have ripped the trophy away at that moment. Here goes Noah Hull, played a perfect game so far. Redirecting, spoke too soon. Jeez, commentators curse. What?
Well, that will finally give them some decent field position for a restart. Nice pick by 54, is it?
We'll see it on replay here on the screen, and I think it is. We'll get one more look there. The jersey number's coloured. And 18, which is Josh Smith. We gave him props earlier for breaking a play, the rookie cornerback.
Sneaky Fitzsimmons picked up the dregs and started celebrating.
That's the way you got to
take
do
the
it.
glory.
That's how you get stats.
Nice work.
Hearn again. Hearn stuffed and manhandled to the ground by the big nose tackle we were speaking about moments ago, Brigham Alafipo.
The flag on the play out on the stadium side of the
In the free blocking zone. He was in
It might have been a holding penalty that's been disregarded.
There's another play here. Takes place. Regan Holiday trying to get it to his playmaker there, but the tackling on point right now. Open field tackle made there by Flynn Groth has impressed on the offensive side of the ball, and now he's getting amongst it on the defensive side.
Yeah, it's got to be really frustrating for the Rhinos boys at the moment. Nothing they're doing is really paying dividends. They're very much in quicksand mode.
And That is the end of the third quarter here. Stingrays have continued to apply pressure here. 32 points to 6 at the end of 3. Tribal Sports still decking out a bulk of the teams here in Gridiron Queensland, and obviously as well our representative teams. Been with Gridiron Queensland for a number of years now. Thank you once again for your ongoing support. Broadcast team, myself, Justin Fernley, Liam Reeves, your voices on the action here in this game. Live streaming Brisbane, bringing you all the action to your Facebook pages. Third down and long here, the Rhinos. Now, oh, pump fake. Hearn runs, hit, fumble. Giving my best Joe Buck impersonation there, and I think that's Alafipo again.
That was a
picking up the numbers, and look at this reception he's getting.
huge hit from Flynn Groth to knock the ball free. He got that boy exactly where he needed to get him, and that ball just popped out quite simply. Nose tackle, picking up the spoils.
His border scoring touchdown, and now he's trying to lay some wood, Flynn Groth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll be happy about that. Nothing a receiver loves more than to come out from
Surely his
the
old man.
sideline and put some hits on.
Old man's proud of that one, I'm
Oh,
sure.
certainly hit harder than Simon ever would have.
32 to 6, you can say that, I can't. Top of the fourth. Stingrays offense gives them another possession, thanks to the connection of Groth and Alafipo. Deep drop here from Hull, throwing for O'Rourke, trying to beat defenders, intercepted!
So we have a changeover followed by a changeover.
The old back-to-back turnovers, and I think that is the 12. That is now have since been corrected. That is Darcel Tuamavave. Made a big play in the defensive backfield earlier in the second. This time grabs a pick, but has been clocked on the right thigh, it looks like, and he is needing some medical attention.
Yeah, nice line on that pass. Just the length was probably about 3 yards too short. He just managed to get a little bit more on it. Would have been very nicely taken in the corner of the end zone.
It's one of those things where when you've got a big dominant receiver who can win jump balls, sometimes, traditionally you see them covered by 2, you don't want to do it. But when you've got a guy who can compete with a ball in the air like that, sometimes you just want to give him half a
It's
chance.
just such an obvious mark too. I mean, what a target. It's not hard to find him. But as I say, it would have been a great pass. It was basically, undefensible if he just put that extra 2 or 3 yards on it. The only thing that resulted in that interception was the fact that it was a little underthrown.
Well, Darcel Tuamavave was trusted with the responsibility of covering O'Rourke, being one of the only defensive backs above 6 foot. And, fair to say, O'Rourke got a touchdown earlier. This time, Darcel responds with a pick. Unfortunately, walking off with a limp now.
So he is the guy that took the pick.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate result, but
Sure.
he'll be happy with the pick.
I'm sure Uncle Joe's watching over proudly.
Yeah, shout out to Joe Tuamavave.
How many more years do you think Joe's got in him? He's
Well,
retired
he's
a couple times.
retired about 12 times now, so I'd say he's probably got another 10 years left in him.
Who reckons, who's had more retirements, him or Chris Mooney?
Oh, Chris Mooney, obviously.
I think Malloy's going to give them both a run for their money.
Chris is 48 years old. He's retired 20 times.
To be fair, he stayed retired his last time.
He only looks like 37, 38.
It's all the
Hence
beard, man.
defence.
It's all the beard. First down, Rhinos looking to get back on the scoreboard.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Good
talking
perimeter
about.
defense.
Get some yards on the ground.
Yellow free body running him out of bounds there. And there it is. Possibly heeding some of your advice there, keeping it on the ground, looking for some positive yardage. Might be a little too late, unfortunately, but a chance to.
Well, I mean, if
grab
nothing
a few
else, if
more
they
points.
can keep it on the ground and get some yardage, they'll soak up the clock. And stop those Stingrays getting to the 50 points.
There's that man Denton just walking to the bottom side of the field. He'll be now tested. Denton with deflections upon deflections upon deflections.
Nice work from Alex Blythe there to break that up. I think he realised he wasn't going to catch it, so he just worked on the next best thing and making sure no one else does.
One of these are going to turn into a pick there for young Christian. Keegan Winand, after getting real busy in the first half, has had a bit of a quieter second half since. That being said, it's probably largely because the rest of his team has certainly lifted their game.
Rhinos looking to pass the ball again on third down.
Looks like they ran out of time.
Yeah. Make that 3rd and 12.
So what was long gets a little bit longer. Delay game, and they'll try to run in between the guards here for you, Justin, but the Stingrays' defense are relentless right now.
Yeah, just harking back to what I said previously, it's just very, very frustrating for the Rhinos. They're trying different things, trying to get some yards on the ground, but nothing's working at the moment for them. The Stingrays certainly confidence level would be sky high at the moment, even though it's deep into the game.
As you mentioned, I couldn't think of more of a confidence team than the Gold Coast Stingrays. Colts Hearn throws short, looking for Holiday on 4th down there. That'll be another turnover on downs, and this is probably where it has contributed to the scoreboard a bit. They have been caught, in some bad field position, have been able to convert out of it, and thus has made some pretty short fields here for the Stingrays. And credit to the Stingrays, they've cashed in on almost all of them.
Oh, look, to the Rhinos' credit, they've done pretty well to hold the Stingrays to. Is it only 6 points this half? Was it halftime score was 26-6, I believe.
I think you're right. I think it was
So
just
they only have 6 points added to their scoreline after a quarter and a half.
2 touchdowns though. The kick return touchdown to
Yes,
Dobosh,
at the start.
and then the reception to Dobosh as well.
Still not a bad result given.
All things considered. Couple playing off the ball here. Kane Mackin will then try to take advantage of that soft coverage and the light box. Look at him go, still pushing. But so do the Rhinos troops. They eventually get him down. Hasn't had a huge day on the ground, Kane Mackin, but it's been productive enough.
Yeah, well, he was the guy that lost his helmet early in the piece running the ball. He's certainly been difficult to pull down. He's quite a truck running the ball. Not a huge amount of speed, but certainly a lot of strength in those legs. And it's good to see a big-bodied lad getting the ball and just trundling and carrying defenders with him. Instead of these show ponies that dance around and don't want anyone to touch them.
Happening more and more.
That was me.
32-6 here. Under 6 minutes now remaining here in the Colts Sunbowl. Hull, 2 picks on his last couple of trips. He's got an open man. They're gonna say it's a catch. One saying juggled, one was saying catch. We haven't got a call yet.
I don't think that was a catch. It looked like a catch, felt like a catch, but that little bobble and then losing the ball, I wouldn't call that a catch, especially under the current rulings.
I think if you're a receiver, you can't claim that, can you?
He's got it there, but then the arm comes in and knocks it loose. Yeah, I don't think that's a catch. I think that's great.
Just remember, we are playing IFAF rules, which goes on to the NCAA rules. All you need is 1 foot in bounds and control of the football.
I'm not sure he ever had control of it. I think it's great defense, except for the fact that he's got too much space, but then I think I'll call that incomplete.
No, I think they've called it. I just saw look at the big celebration there from Noah Hull and his offense. They're looking to convert.
That's a touchdown. He obviously had enough, according to the officials.
Look, I'll just say one thing. In the NFL, that's never a touchdown. But
what they're saying is...
we are under IFAF ruling, which emulates a lot of the NCAA rulings. Mackin here,
And
not shut out this time. Trucks his way over, adds another 2 points to the scoreboard. So that was just a go back. Was that Flynn Groth again,
Yeah,
adding his 3rd touchdown?
he's had a big day. Daddy would be proud. So yeah, just he's obviously felt that Flynn had enough of that ball when his 1 foot came down in bounds, so they consider he was in control. And it was after the fact of him gaining control that the ball was knocked loose. Just takes me back to a few years back with some contentious calls in some of the Spartans' Sun Bowls where similar situations have occurred. It's a touch and a borderline call from the officials, but this time they've decided that they'll err on the side of the completion, which is probably a good result because it was a nice looking grab.
40 points to 6 here. Dobosh ready to kick off. We'll get you back to live pictures in a second. Splits the 2 returners. They'll let this one go back for a touchback. Noah Hull,
Well, given what we've seen of the previous attempts to field kickoffs, that's probably a good idea. They probably should have started doing that a bit earlier.
yeah, going back to Noah Hull, his stats for the day: 5 passing touchdowns, I believe, 2 picks, 3 to Groth, 1 to O'Rourke, 1 to Aiden Dobosh.
Well, I mean, the good thing about Noah's game so far today, Ken, is that he's thrown those 5 touchdown passes, but he hasn't done it easily. You know, he hasn't been a matter of just stepping back 3 or 4 yards and finding wide open receivers to throw to. He's actually had to work and to get field position to make that happen. So it's good to see a quarterback having to move around and react to things that...
Back foot throw, intercepted by Denton. Denton looking to return this one for 6. Can he get there? He got awfully close.
He'll be down about 2 yards out. Yeah, so it's good to see that Noah's done the work to get those touchdowns. It hasn't been easy for him, and whilst his offensive line and the rest of the team have done their jobs, he's been up to the task when it's been required to do things a little bit out of the ordinary. It's a little bit short there.
He knows it too. Jeez, he's had a big day as well. And look, it was always a dangerous throw there. They're obviously in a position where they're just trying to make big plays happen. Caught through off his back foot and sailed it there for Denton, who's had a couple of pass deflections so far. This time gets rewarded with the catch.
Yeah, he'll be dirty. He couldn't quite get there, but certainly getting it
Result
to
is a touchback.
where have they spotted the ball?
So it's first down, the Rhinos.
Let's see from here. At the 20. So what have they called this here? A touchback. Oh, okay.
Well, he's fumbled it.
I thought he would have fumbled it outside the field of play.
I thought it would too, but they're going to say that it went into the end zone at the back or at the side of the end zone, which means touchback. So ultimately, no harm done here for the Rhinos. In fact, it probably got them some better field position.
Best play of the day.
Officials timeout. The Gold Coast are challenging the ruling of the previous play of a touchback.
So they've obviously ruled that he's lost the ball before going down.
He's taking a look again here.
He's got the ball.
Nope.
So my guess is they've ruled that he's lost the ball before going down, and then the ball's gone out the back of the end zone or the side of the end zone. So it's
Just mentioning, this is a reviewed play right now. I see the red.
As opposed to the ground causing the fumble. If the ground caused the fumble, the play would be dead when he goes down. Which
I think he's
lost it there.
He's lost it. He's promoted. This is a great call from the officials.
Yeah, knees aren't down, nothing on his body's touching the ground except his hands, maybe. So yeah, that's the call.
Well
the
done.
ground hasn't caused the fumble. So they're reviewing this, are they, Ken? By the
Yeah, you
looks
can
of
see
it?
the red. You can just see it here by the first down marker
Yep.
there. That there's a red hanky on the field here. So they wanted to try and keep possession.
Yeah, good call. I think it's going to be the right call, and it's a really good call. Because certainly my impression was that he'd hit the ground with the ball and it popped out.
Well, there's two angles there. I think they're just trying to see if the hand he's propping him up is purely the palms of the hands.
Yep.
That might be the only saving grace, if you want to call the team that's leading 40-6 a saving grace. But that's the only thing that could consider him down. Play on the field. Well, I'll let Richard Prater communicate the rest of it to you. And Prater to deliver the news that we've received.
The ruling on the field is confirmed of a touchback. It'll be first down for the Rhinos.
And as you would have heard there, play is confirmed. In other words, the officials get to stick their tongue out and say, we got it right.
Yeah, we told you.
And indeed, that fumble was of Christian Denton's fault. Holiday here, trying to get some yards up the middle. The defensive line led there by Brigham Alafipo denies him the opportunity. That's a loss on first down.
Yeah, I'd say the Rhinos O-line are a little bit out of puff by this stage of the game. They've had a lot of work to do with a very big front four from the Stingrays.
Well,
I mean, their average weight would have to be around easily the 105 kilos, I would think.
Well, yeah,
Possibly more. That's a big front four for a Colts team. They're all agile and very mobile.
they tried to get front side on that, but for as big as he is, he's too quick, Alafipo. They tried to leave him on block so they can get the front side, but he just blew up. Chased the play down. This one's to Blythe. Good concentration.
Hey.
And we'll get tackled there after
Nice catch.
what appears to be a 6 or 7 yard catch. And I'll tell you what, between the two younger divisions so far this morning, the juniors and the Colts now, a lot of concentration on display. We've seen a bunch of tipped catches, a bunch of tipped touchdowns. For those who are watching the junior game, we saw Taj Borden fumble a quarterback snap and turn it into a touchdown. So there's been some wonderful concentration here. And to be fair, in the younger divisions, that's usually one of the biggest things you're concerned about as a coach is can they keep their concentration?
That's right, not give up on the play.
Third down now. Here goes Hearn. Shoulder fake. He's got some step, but couldn't quite find the guy. Denton had him step for step there, but he was pretty far infield. Ultimately ended up being in the better position. He's having a great day, young Denton. And fourth down now. I think the Rhinos are in the position where they're just going to go for it here. And still a very proud program. Have been in some bowls, both in the Colts and the junior division several times over the last 3-4 years. Fourth down now. Hearn under pressure, delivers a nice strike, but only has Aiden Dobosh in the vicinity. And this Stingrays defense will not let up. .335 now remaining up ahead. For those wondering what games we've got upcoming, the women's division takes place next. Hendeka versus Aces 11. That's right, some names you might have heard before if you've watched previous ones. It's because this year, Gridiron Queensland made the decision to consolidate a lot of the women's teams into two teams that could make 11-a-side football happen. And those two teams have come under the banners of Hendeka and Aces 11. First down here for Noah Hull, and for their biggest loss of the day, making that happen is Finn Shortman, a regular in this team. I haven't had to call his name a whole lot today. picks it up here in the fourth quarter. A big play there from the experienced veteran.
Yeah, well, that's what the Rhinos players will be looking to do in the last 3 minutes of this game. Just make some big plays, get a bit of bragging rights at least for the remaining of the game. It's big plays like that they'll remember. They'll remember the loss, but if you can pull off a few big plays, that'll certainly help ease the pain of the loss. Yeah, the Stingrays quarterback Noah Hull not seeing that threat come before it was all way too late.
Second and long. This is the longest down and distance the Stingrays have had to deal with so far today. Hull, that one escapes him a little bit. Dobosh makes the catch, but yep, as confirmed as I thought, his knee was down there, so the play will halt.
Yes, as opposed to what some of our people at home might be watching, familiar with the NFL. In the NFL, you can make a catch and have your knee touch the ground and get up and keep going. Not under the rules we play in the GQ competition. Once that knee's down, play is over.
And I think we're about to hit the 2-minute warning. An official timeout here. Two minutes remaining in the game.
Stingrays might still be confident of getting that 50 points, Kenny. Got touchdowns left in them, possibly. It'll be a bit of a win for the Rhinos if they can deny them that privilege.
And they'll continue to pass here. Hull rolling out to his offside. Who's he found underneath? That is, once again, Groth. Groth breaking tackles. And Groth getting in for his 4th touchdown of the afternoon. The man cannot be stopped.
Nice work from the Stingrays. Just dumping it off down the left-hand sideline and saying, there you go, Flynn. Here's one for the video highlight reel.
And look, that's sometimes quarterbacks make the play, sometimes it's all thanks to the blockers. I think it's fair to say that is a play that is very much made up of a lot of Flynn Groth exclusivity.
Yeah, it's a real luxury having players able to do that from pretty much anywhere on the field. It gives you so many options on what you do with the ball. Still thinking about where that end zone is. Will he fire? No, he's denied. Stopped about a half a yard short after a searching run.
So to put things in perspective, look, in my interviews I conducted this week to get some intel here, a lot of talk about some of the other receivers who we've heard about, Dobosh, O'Rourke. Dare I say it, Flynn Groth's kind of come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his regular season stats. Before today, he only had the one lone receiving touchdown.
Yep.
And now he's gone and quintupled that.
Yeah, I noticed that at half time and was a little bit taken aback. Didn't know whether it was due to him not being available for the bulk of the season or what, but certainly he's picked up his game for the Sun Bowl, the game that matters, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's sometimes one of those situations where game planning, when you're the other team, you try to take away a team's top threat, then follow it if you can, take away their second threat, and sometimes the third, statistically, reaps the benefits of that.
Well, Jaden O'Rourke's numbers for the season have been amazing. 26 receptions.
And, they're still after it.
So I guess when you've got a target that's 6'5" and can catch, he's going to be the go-to guy.
Inside recovery there. I'm not going to say this is something that's unfamiliar to the Stingrays program. I've seen their women's program do it. I've seen their Colts and juniors do it, and they're not afraid to keep piling on the score.
Well, they're obviously going for that 50, Ken. I don't think Coach Isham will be happy unless they get it. No. Obviously, the win's going to be something he'll be very much desiring, but I think to put the 50 points on top of that will be something that'll make him even happier.
It's met with obviously mixed results and mixed emotions around the league, but the Stingrays I'll tell you something I know about Connor Brewster and Cole. They're very much results-driven people.
Yep.
They set goals, goal-orientated, I should say. They set goals and they look out to achieve them. And he'd just argue that this is that situation.
Yeah. Well, certainly as coaches you have targets you aim for, and one of the targets going into this game would have obviously been the win, and then from there as many points as they can pile on as possible. Sunbowl's certainly not the game where you want to be all buddy-buddy with the opposition and take it easy on them and restrain yourself, and why should it be?
Second down. Here for the Stingrays, just over a minute remaining. Protection is good. A hole rolls out, looking for Paludan. I shall say Paludan. Incomplete. I think that was
Pass
again
broken
Josh
up
Smith
by
on the
some
coverage.
nice coverage on that play.
And
Be a little bit of
I think it might have been Fitzsimmons.
suspected DPI, but I think he had just enough of a look at the ball to take that away from the Stingrays. I've got to tell you, Kenny, I'm actually very, very surprised by the state of the weather at the moment, and not wanting to put the mockers on
I was
anything,
about
but
to say.
considering we're supposed to be ripping down something severe by now, given that my almost 4-hour drive was fraught with the danger of that happening, it's a very pleasing result thus far.
Yeah, but I'm with you there. I almost want to tempt the fate.
If it's going to come, it's going to come, but let's just fingers crossed it stays as nice as it is at the moment. Considering I think they were tipping it was all going to come in from off the coast. Looking out over the ocean at the moment, there's some clouds around, but certainly nothing of any great consequence at the moment.
Glenn Parker's tuning in from across the ditch. Some of you guys might remember his post-game presenting from a season ago. Couldn't make it over because, COVID. And this is Mackin adding punting to his repertoire.
An unusual 4th down punt from the Stingrays, and they've turned it over. No.
It will be eventually
Certainly
safely
tried
recovered.
very hard to turn that over then, the Rhinos, but fortunately managed to retain possession of the ball.
Josh Smith, 46-6, under a minute remaining. Now the Rhinos have a chance to try to end this game on a high.
Stingrays front 4 and defence being led by Brigham Alapipo today, number 62. He's had a very good game anchoring the centre of that defensive line.
First down throw here, and it is Blythe taking
got
a catch. Oh, and there it is! The longest completion of the day for the Brisbane Rhinos.
Where did that arm come from, Ken?
The regular season apparently completed to Regan Holiday. They're done trying to hand it off to him. They said, let's just send him along and see what happens.
That would easily be the longest play of the day from Anthony Hearn. He's just said, stuff this. The arm's getting wound up and away it's gone. Nice result. Takes them over the halfway mark with 33 seconds remaining.
Yeah, they use one of their final remaining timeout. Oh, the second of time. So they get a chance here to put some points on the board here just to finish out the game. And
Oh, look, if nothing else, it'll be a nice little victory for the Rhinos team over the Gold Coast Stingrays coaching staff, who at this point in the game will be probably blowing up a little bit about where things are at.
and just
So if they can finish the game with the last touchdown, there is probably a good argument for the last score wins rule to prevail.
you claim whatever you
That's
can
certainly
get.
what the Rhinos will be hoping.
Well, and from a personal standpoint, if you do know that Isham and Coach Isham and this team desperately wanted to keep you to a donut, there's a little bit of solace you can take back.
Yeah.
Scoring an extra touchdown, 2 receivers out to the right now. I have to assume that's Holiday in the backfield. It's a bad snap though, and he'll just have to sit on it.
Ooh,
I think some common sense will be applied
close
there
to
to
a
the
helmet grab there.
I don't think there's any malice in it. I think the officials will apply some common sense.
The Rhinos have brought another quarterback in, number 10,
Yeah,
Alex Blythe.
Alex Blythe, as I think I might have mentioned to you earlier, was started most of the regular season games, and it was a decision to start Hearn.
Well, I wonder if it was him that threw that ball before.
It was.
Ah, okay.
The
Yes,
lefty.
it definitely was. There it is there.
I think he had a bit too much faith in his receiver's speed there. Total is fast, but I think Randy Moss would have even struggled to catch up with that.
Land? That landed at about the
Goal
20, 15, 20 where it actually landed. 10, 15, 20, 30, probably close to a 40 plus yard pass in the air. The kid certainly got a cannon on him. Just needs to work on his timing a little bit, I'd say.
Just more on Brigham there. Brigham Lafipo's Australian offensive line coach out of Bolton, tuning in and talking about how he did some work with him in the preseason, and he might be playing defensive tackle here, but he thinks that ultimately his future might be sitting at one of the offensive tackle positions.
Okay, nice bit of footwork there from the nose tackle.
Another big throw there, and again just trying to get the ball downfield there, but nothing but a bunch of Stingrays circling around that ball. That does fall safely out of bounds, and that might be the end of the game there. And we can see the Gatorade showers happen on the far side of the field. Both Connor Brewster and, of course, head coach Colt Isham reaping the joys of the Gatorade, or probably in our case, the water shower there. Well earned. A very dominant victory here, 46 points to 6. Rhinos did threaten a little bit earlier, but ultimately the Stingrays had this game from start to finish. Their strong season, their 7-1-0 season, finishes nicely with a resounding victory here in the Sun Bowl. And that it is it. 6 titles in a row. The longest active streak in Gridiron Queensland Colts history.
It's an enviable result, but hey, good work from the Rhinos today. I mean, they were, to be honest, probably a very long odds to win the game, but they stayed in the game for most of it. They had a fairly strong patch there in the second half of the game where they held the Rhinos from Stingrays from